Good day, YouTubers, fellow reloaders, collectors, restorers, antiquers, hobbyists, enthusiasts, all those good things. I thought I would do a midstream, I guess this is probably a better comparison, of before-ish and after-ish. So obviously you can see which one's the before. Actually, I hope you can see which one's the before and after, down to just about every detail. Screws and the washers polished, fixed, repaired from the scuffage to be better than they were. Polish, light polish. Not didn't want a heavy clean on that. This was also polished and cleaned, as you can see. Not so much on the knurling, but definitely on the throat of the device that holds things in. Didn't do anything to the powder shot. I'll call this the RAM. Simply because no oil, no anything. Didn't even polish the spring, left it completely alone so that there would no be issues with no tension. Obviously this was cleaned. I don't know how clean the shot version will get, but again, big, huge difference in the reds. I mean, just, and you'll see that in the press too. The press cleaned up beautifully. It wasn't a difficult press to take apart, but there were some nuts on there that hadn't been touched in a long time. And I did find that black nut set on the right, on the shot side, was original based on additional pictures I've seen. So it can't be the exception that mine just has two black nuts on it. But that's it in play. I'll do an update on the base. Came out exceptionally well. I took a different approach on this one. I did a skim coat with the sticker on, letting all the bubbles come up. And then a day later, I did the pour coat, and it reduced 95%. You know, there's still a bubble here and a bubble there, but much better approach. This is still curing. I'll have another day of curing, and then I got lazy with the back. I didn't tape it off, so I have the runoff to contend with, and then I also have to countersink the holes for my nuts and bolts, and I'll put some feet on to raise it up a little bit, but that came out quite nice. And I reached out to C&H, had to pay for stickers. They don't even give you stickers for free, which is funny. So this came out really good, and another day or so press should be done and mounted. Good day, YouTubers, fellow reloaders, collectors, hobbyists, woodworkers, antiquers, restorers, followers of my channel. The base is done, cured, and holes are countersunk. I'm going to take a different approach, and I put a bigger foot on this for two reasons. One, because of the size. And two, I'm going to sink, when I mount the press, I'm going to mount it like this instead of like that. So instead of the bolts showing, it's going to be the top of the nut. And because of the thickness, you know, when you consider trying to bury the entire nut and washer, that doesn't leave a whole lot of meat in the wood. And oak is a good wood, hardish wood. But I thought I would leave a 1/4 inch. So that means I'm coming up a little bit not flush. So with the addition of this top foot, the height of the top foot, I will clear my bench in terms of anything touching the bench. So that takes care of the base. Again, came out extremely well. I think it looks great either side. For those who like a satin finish, the wipe-on poly, and those who like, again, thick enough that you can't feel the sticker or the decal. All right, so on to the press. I'll say it again, this is an amazing little press. This was the previously white-ish cloth, and I've been oiling the guide rods quite a bit, because when I took everything apart, as you can see, these have been very cleaned and very polished. Everything on the press, everything. I mean, it just came out gorgeous. Things I didn't notice when it was so dirty. For example, there's a number 1 stamped here that you might not be able to see. Number 1, number 2, number 4, and number 3. My son had asked, why didn't they just do 1, 2, 3, 4? Good question, because, you know, there's both of these are the same size, so in theory, you know, you could switch the two, or actually no, you can't, because this would need to be bigger on this side. But it makes you wonder why they didn't, you know, just do 1, 2, 3, 4 station instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. That was one thing I noticed. And then when cleaning each of the dies, you can clearly see the C&H stamp and the identification of what it is, and the maker, C&H, C&H. Same thing down here. Very clear in terms of C&H and the caliber. And then this actually works now. I don't know if you can see that. You can almost hear it too. So what I was talking about before is when I mount this, this is the look I will be going for, as opposed to that. A little bit cleaner. So onto the mounting. I am not going to mount this real time. Again, C&H, C&H. Everything just came out really, really nice, really clean. Super, super restorable in terms of even polishing down to the littles. Polishing down to the littles. Really came out good. I'm quite impressed with how feature-rich this particular little press is, considering its size. Again, it reminds me of a Mech 600 Junior in terms of its footprint, its functionality, the handle up top, lowering, and just being very tight in its presentation. But now I will mount this and see how the mounting comes out. And this is the press mounted. This is the look I wanted. Nice clean look. Washer and nut and bolt. And I've learned over the years that when you go bolt shopping, nut and bolt shopping, not so much the bolt, more the nut, that when you include the washers, both top and bottom, in your measurements, I've found it's easier to buy multiple lengths at once and then return what you don't use, rather than trying to get it right on the first go round and then find out you didn't get it right, and then you go back and you go back and you go back. So here's what I meant. These are not perfectly flush, but with the feet, it compensates for the bolt, the nut and the washer. If I remove the washer, I could probably be flush, but again, not enough meat here to make it completely flush. So I'll call that a trade-off. I will now mount it to the bench so you can see how it mounts. Hopefully it mounts with the additional height, and then I'll attach the powder and the shot, and then we're done. All right, if I've measured correctly, two things. One, I need to get more matching. I've been making too many bases. Need to get some more, whatever these are called. And two, hopefully I will not hit the camera when I pull the handle down, so that you can, and I'll move it. I'm standing at an awkward angle, aiming left. So let me move over to my right. That's a little better. So now I'm standing in front of the press. continue to apply. I mean, it's 2 fingers. It's a palm in terms of the activity. And I don't know if I have everything crimp. I don't know if that's, I've not tried to re-crimp anything. I don't remember if this was our test dummy. No, that wasn't the one. I think this was the one that didn't want to play nice, and this was the one that actually did. So let me try and uncrimpify this, because we know that this particular hull cooperates with the priming system on this particular machine. Okay, so we're going to pretend that was a once fired. And if memory serves, maybe this is the one that... Nope, maybe it's not. Oh, there's interesting. So there's like a cam over. Ah, maybe that was the solution for this one. Let's try that. This cam over. Ah, that's it. So it's a cam over. Learn something new every day. Now, let's see if it will prime. I don't see why it wouldn't. And it did. And then our packing of all materials. And then finally, a crimp, which I don't believe is quite there yet. So this needs to drop down just a little bit. Let's see if that is enough. Nope. Oh, getting closer. Wow, that's just getting mangled. We'll probably try it on that one. Ooh, looking pretty decent, all things considered. Might as well prime it. Prime it with our fake prime. We have prime. All right, let's see what we got for crimp. Not bad for 19, I think 60s. Plus this particular shell has been jammed O-matic more times than I can recall. All right, the only thing left is to put the powder, and again, that's cool. So that requires more than just a palm. That's for that cam over. A little more effort. All right, I'm going to attach the powder and shot, and one last video here, and then one on the workhorse. All right, we have the full complement of powder and shot with their bushings. Again, with no cam over. There's the cam over for depriming and priming, as well as crimp. All right, that is it. I'll do a full shot of the whole press on the workhorse, and then we'll call it a day for the C&H Shellmaster, completely reconditioned, looking very close to what it did in 1960. Beautiful machine. All right, there it is in all of its glory. The C.H. Charles Hankman Shellmaster 12 gauge. Simplistic, beautiful machine, which I would say the Mech 600 Junior Mark IV is a very close relative, or at least somebody got some ideas. Good stuff. All done.